So you love frugal living and you want to have fun and you want that fun to be free? In this video, I'm going to share 10 tips for free, fun, frugal living. Welcome, I'm Amy, and here at Frugal Over 50, I give you tips and tools for frugal living. Hola a todos! El día de hoy les voy a compartir 10 tips para divertirnos en la vida frugal. Number 1, finish that project. You know what project I'm talking about. It may be something at work, it may be something at home, maybe something for your family, maybe something just for you. But as soon as I said, finish that project, something came to mind and you went, oh no, that's not fun. I hear ya, I feel ya. I had a huge project that I finished yesterday. I finished it late last night. And I have to tell you that it was not as bad as it seemed it was going to be going into it. This is one of the little secrets of those projects that we keep putting off and putting off. When you get into it, sometimes they're terrible, but more often than not, they're just fine. And the thing is that once you get done with your project, you feel such a sense of accomplishment. I cannot describe to you how well I slept last night and how relaxed I felt when I woke up this morning because I finished my project. It was one that I had been putting off for weeks and weeks and weeks. I am ashamed to say it, but the reason I'm telling you this is because one of the first things that I did this morning that was free and fun and frugal is I woke up with that project done and the weight off my shoulders was so great. I feel so serene and so peaceful and so energized and ready to face the day. Whatever that project is that is keeping you awake nights because you're worrying about it, or that is stressing you out all day because you're thinking about it, plan a time to do it and sit down and do it, or get out to wherever you need to go and finish that project. And I'm telling you, your free, frugal, fun life will absolutely blossom. Number 2, take a nap. One of the most delightful things that we can do for ourselves is to rest in the middle of the day. Who gets to do this? Especially if you are a woman over 50, you probably have spent at least some portion of your life trying to get other people, probably small people, to nap, and they didn't want to, and you desperately did. Well, now you may be in a situation where you can nap. I remember my late father saying that one of the joys of retirement life is that he could get up early in the morning, enjoy his coffee and the newspaper, socialize with some friends, and then come home and have just a lovely 30-minute late morning nap. He had a very active social life, many friends, lots to do, and he loved that nap whenever he got it. If you haven't taken a nap lately, you may think to yourself, well, I can't really sleep during the day. You know what, that's okay. Curl up on the sofa with a cozy blanket, just lean your head back and close your eyes and just relax and let your thoughts float away. It may be that you'll actually sleep during this nap, and that's fine. It may also be that you'll just rest and just feel the quiet of your house and feel the quiet of your mind as you just sit and literally do nothing except rest. Take that nap, you know you want to. Number 3, enjoy the sunrise, or if you're more of a night person, enjoy the sunset. There's something about that special, magical time as the sun rises and as the sun sets, where the world just is given this glow. And there are people who are really into studying natural lighting who will talk about these times as the golden hour. And there's something special and quiet and almost magical about looking out at the horizon and seeing that sun come up every day, seeing it go down every night. And I'm not saying that you need to build your entire life around watching the sunrise every day or watching the sunset every day. Not at all. What I am saying is, when you're looking for something that's free and fun and frugal, give your life a little magic. Give your life a little romance by just one day looking out. And you could take your phone or your camera out on your porch or on your balcony or out in your yard or in a special place like a beach. And maybe you get a photo or two that you can share with your loved ones. Maybe you just enjoy it with a cup of coffee. The beautiful colors of the light and the way that it shifts in intensity as the sun rises and as the sun sets. I'm trying to describe it to you, and it's really hard to capture in words the significance of the fact that the sun rises every day and it sets every night. And if you haven't seen a sunrise or a sunset lately, take some time and just step out and look and bathe in the glow of that very special light. Speaking of bathing in the glow, if you're bathing in the glow of this video so far, would you give it a like and consider subscribing? We've got a lot of new friends here lately. Welcome. And if you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed yet, we'd love to have you join the Frugal Over 50 community. Number 4, get out in nature, or if you live in a city, get out in the city, but get outside. Going outside can change your perspective. Many of us have been mostly inside for most of the last 2.5 to almost 3 years now, and we can sometimes forget, I need to go outside. Others of us have been working really hard outside, but not necessarily outside, in a place where nobody is asking anything of you, where you don't have any extra responsibilities, and where you can just feel yourself footloose and fancy-free. I'm almost imagining like Pippi Longstocking, do you remember her, with the braids sticking out to the side of her head, skipping around and just enjoying herself. As you're watching me here, just imagine, where will you go? What sort of nature will you get out into? What sort of city will you get out into? We have had these conversations in the comments, and I've heard some lovely things like people who love to sit in their garden, in their wheelchair. Other people love to just sort of bounce around the city, walking everywhere they go. Others of you have talked about walking in the woods. I have so much enjoyed living in a place where for the first time in my life, I can experience the change of seasons. I've watched the world go from summer to fall and into winter, and it's absolutely glorious. And getting outside every day, even if it's just for a short time, because maybe it's really cold or maybe it's really hot, even if it's just for a short time, it makes everything in life just seem a little bit brighter, a little bit more magical, a little bit more fun. And is it frugal? Absolutely, because it costs nothing. Get out in nature, get out in your city, and tell me, where are you gonna go next? Number 5, walk the dog. Goldie loves to go for walks, even though she is 13.5 years old and her walks are very slow and quite short sometimes, but she still loves to get out there. If you have a pet that enjoys a walk, it's okay to take time out of your day to give them a good walk. And I know this can be hard to do. It's something that pet owners don't talk about very much, but we're really busy and we have a lot of things to do, and our pets are just sort of waiting for us to take them out, and sometimes a day goes by and we're like, oh yeah, I forgot to take you out. It's okay to really plan time in our day to encourage our pets to enjoy nature or to encourage our pets to enjoy the city. If you have an indoor pet, maybe instead of taking the pet for a walk, you have a cat and you play with it with something on the end of a string. Or if you have a fish, you give it a little extra treat. Maybe you have a hamster and you watch it go on its wheel for a little bit. When we enjoy our animal companions, we are taking time away from the stress of our lives in order to experience a connection with a pet that is really difficult to experience anywhere else. And I think that sometimes we don't want to give ourselves permission to really feel and experience the unconditional caring and love that comes to us from our pets. If you have a pet and you need that permission from me, I'm giving it to you. If you're not an animal person, I bet there's something in your house that gives you joy, and you may sometimes hold yourself back from doing that thing that gives you joy. Maybe it's a craft project or a baking project or something related to that. But anything that feels like unconditional caring, unconditional love, unconditional peace and joy, that's wonderful. Go for it. Lean into it. Take your dog for a walk. Number 6, make a clean out the fridge dinner. One of my projects earlier this week was to clean out the fridge, and if you're like me, it's not a job you enjoy. So I told myself, when I got the fridge cleaned out, I would see what I could do and what kind of dinner I could make. And I discovered that I had almost all of the ingredients. I just had to shop for one little thing to make some leftover turkey enchiladas. And I wanted to do these in a style that would be sort of a tip of the hat, a bit of a tribute to a restaurant that I ate at in Mexico City in 1989, a restaurant called Sanborns. Any of you have been to Mexico City? Tell me down below in the comments. Did you go to Sanborns? Did you get their famous enchiladas suizas? You can find recipes online so that you can make enchiladas suizas at your own home, and I encourage you to try it out. But I didn't really have the ingredients for the actual full-blown enchiladas suizas, so instead I did a little bit of a riff on that style of enchilada based on the ingredients that I had. Now, this was a huge triumph, and I regret to say that I can only share with you what the finished product looked like because it got devoured really fast. I ate some, I shared it with neighbors, everyone was like, oh my gosh, this is really good. So something that started out as a project I didn't want to do, see number 1 above, turned into a dinner that I could share with friends, enjoy myself, and it inspired some creativity that I didn't really know that I had, and it brought back great memories. Mexico City, circa 1989, 1990, when I lived there, one of my favorite places in the world, and the enchiladas suizas from Sanborn's, classic, iconic. I can't say I nailed it because theirs are the best, but wow, did I have something to share. So clean out that fridge and make that dinner. You will not regret it. Number 7, read a book. We've had many conversations here over the years about how much frugal people love the library. And I have a Kindle Paperwhite, which I have had since 2013. I checked, it's a 2013 model, so it's coming up on 10 years old. Still works great. Sometimes I think about upgrading, but I actually love the thing, and when I wear out a case, I buy a new case and I keep going. And I have memberships in 2 library systems, and I check out a lot of books. I'm constantly listening to a book or reading a book, or sometimes alternating between the 2 depending on what I'm doing. I tend to be one of those people who can't walk around the house without carrying a book. And since I discovered the Kindle in the last decade, that means I trip over less things because I don't have a big book in front of my face. But I encourage you to join me in reading books. Whatever you love to read is going to love you back. If you are reading a book, especially if it is from the library, it hasn't cost you anything. It takes some time, and it takes you to a whole different world, a whole new world, and you will not regret the trip. I like everything from cozy mysteries to far future science fiction and all kinds of things in between. And it is so much fun to travel to different worlds without leaving this very comfortable chair. So read a book. Number 8, decorate for the holidays just using what you have. Now, in last week's video, which I will link up above, I talked about decorating with items from the thrift store, which I absolutely love to do. But in my part of the world, we're shifting to Christmas, which of course is one of the big holidays in the Western world. And I just decided I didn't want to buy anything thrifted. Instead, I wanted to use what I had. And you know what? I don't have very much, and I don't have a tree because I just moved here. I didn't bring very many things. But I actually set up a few old Christmas cards and a few stockings that I brought with me. And I just made a little tableau, which I love. And when I turn on the lamp that I have the Christmas cards and the stocking under, I swear it looks like a Christmas tree, and I feel like I have a Christmas tree. I have had no stress. It has cost me no money, and it is lovely. And every night as I sit in my cozy home, I see this beautiful little lamp that substitutes for a tree. And I see this little tableau of things that I've had for many years that are just like Christmas cards and simple decorations. And they cost nothing. They took all of 10 minutes to set up, and I will enjoy it all month long. Use what you have. It'll keep it simple, it'll keep it free, and it's so much fun. Number 9, have we talked about the joys of just sitting and staring out a window? Depending on where you live, you may have to choose your window carefully. I know some of you live in large cities and the view out your window is the brick wall of the apartment next door. And others of you live near woods and you could stare out the window all day and never be bored, and everything in between. But find a window to just sit and stare out of. Just look out the window. This is something that I think most of us who are women over 50, we have memories of doing this in our childhoods and in our young adulthoods. But really, once most of us got phones, and especially smartphones, we have kind of forgotten that skill. The skill of just sitting and staring and watching the world go by, watching nature, watching the breeze through the trees, watching the squirrels run up and down, if you can find them. I always have a hard time. I have mentioned a time or two that I've moved to a place where I enjoy the 4 seasons for the first time in my life. So I'm really enjoying that when I stare out the window, every day is a little bit different. But I also remember from my life in the tropics, the beauty of just looking outside and seeing that lush greenery and the beautiful flowers on an everyday basis. There's always something different in nature, just like with a sunrise and sunset. Every day is a little bit different, and every day is special when you just stare out a window. Number 10, talk to a friend or a loved one, somebody you care about and who cares about you. Have a little conversation. It doesn't have to be anything significant. It can just be a little chat over coffee or sharing what you did during the day. Any relationship that you have that feels peaceful, that feels joyful, that feels affirming, that makes you feel like your life is okay when you're with this person, have a little conversation. These are the relationships and the conversations that sort of buoy us, because frugal living, even though I'm talking about it being fun, honestly, sometimes it can be really hard. And we often face challenges that feel quite insurmountable. Many of us are going through extraordinarily difficult times in the world right now, and it can be really difficult to talk about it because they just feel so enormous. We don't even have to chat about those things with our loved ones. Have a little conversation with somebody where you know that the conversation itself is a sign of caring, is a sign of support, is a sign of love even, so that you know that you're not alone. And in fact, you are not alone, especially those of us who are looking for something free and frugal and fun to do, because so much of the rest of our lives are really struggling right now. Our financial situations may be difficult. There may be systemic forces at play that we just can't overcome. A lot of us are fighting with health insurance companies, or dealing with long-term problems of another sort. And it can be very, very heavy. And having a chat with somebody who cares about you can lighten the load, even if it's just a simple greeting, a simple chat over coffee, a simple smile among friends. And in case you need that, here's a smile and a chat for you. I believe in you, I support you, and I am so proud of you and so thankful that you're here. Even though we're just cyber friends, you have my full support. And also, find somebody in your in-person life and have that chat today. I am so proud of you. Take your next step on your frugal living journey, and I'll see you in the next video. Nos vemos pronto. Bye!